Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Wait, take.
Throw. End zone. Caught. Terrence Williams. Touchdown, Cowboys. Tony Romo.
They go for the shotgun. Roger looks left, fires it out there, caught by Tony Hill. Touchdown, Cowboys!
15 to the 10, he'll score. Emmitt Smith dances to the end zone. The Cowboys have taken a 2-score lead.
Play fake to throw it out of the end zone.
Going way down the field for Michael Irvin, bumping and grinding at the 5. Oh, he's got it. Touchdown, Cowboys.
Over the middle, caught by Witten, who loses his helmet but still keeps going. A penalty.
All the pressure on the left side. He drops the ball, throws, caught, Witten. Touchdown.
Big opening for Tony Dorsett. Look out, he's got great speed.
99 yards and a half.
Dorsett down the sideline. Stays in bounds.
Can you believe that?
And short because 99 yards.
Prescott able to get out of the end zone and now airs it out for Lamb. He's got it. He's gone. When he gets there, it's a touchdown, Cowboys. On top.
You want to know what an all-pro looks like? Watch Michael Irvin here. He'll battle you all the way down the field.
Motion on first down, Aikman. Harper. Was that beautiful? Touchdown, Dallas. Mr. Men on the rush. Pass is caught. Deflection. Touchdown. Cowboys win. Amari Cooper.
Throws it down the field. It's caught at the 10. And this game is over. The Cowboys win it. C.D. Lamb.
But no. But you understand, we do have one game left to play. Hey, fantastic. Every single one of you. I mean, I'm not just talking about these last 60 minutes. I'm talking about the quarterback schools, the mini camp, the off-season, the training camp, down in Austin when it was hot and you were tired, the whole bit. Everybody, you did one hell of a job. And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Cowboys Nation, welcome back to another episode of Sons of the Star. I am your host, Dallas. Joining me again, as always, it's Cowboy Reg. Hope y'all are doing okay after another loss to the San Francisco 49ers. That is the fourth straight loss that the Dallas Cowboys have suffered in San Francisco, and they deteriorate to 3-4 on the season. So Cowboy Reg, other than the Cowboys being a total disaster, how's your week going? Happy Tuesday. How are we feeling?
That's tough, man. It's a tough one. I mean, you know, I'm a Yankees fan, so we got a 0-3 hole about to get swept. Cowboys are going downhill fast. It's a tough time to be a sports fan, but I guess I have to start watching the Mavericks more. I watch them Dallas Mavericks. Maybe they can get it done. Maybe that's the Dallas franchise that could get it done.
Well, you know, most Dallas franchises are good. Well, the Texas Rangers didn't have a good year, but I think the Stars will be good again.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
a lot of Cowboys fans can be happy about that. I personally, as you know, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and everything other than that, I'm a Chicago sports fan. So tough weekend for me. I still kind of have a small soft spot for the Chicago Bears. So that was also bad. And it
was entertaining though. That was entertaining.
And now, you know, now we got the Washington Commanders with 6-2 at 3 games ahead of the Dallas Cowboys.
What does that matter? We're gonna get into it, but that's the least of our worries. What the teams above us are doing.
Oh man, yeah, everyone's kind of coming together except for us and the New York Giants. So, but hey, we are live on X tonight. So if you have questions for us today, we would love to hear from you. Please distract us from diving into this game. That's what we're here to do. But at the end of the day, I don't want to do it, but it's a tough job. Man, Cowboy Reg, I'm starting to wonder if this podcast is just bad luck for the Dallas Cowboys, because I think it all stems back to that game in A&T Stadium against the Packers. I guess that's where we can start tonight. Is like, my feeling is something broke with the franchise when they lost that game to Green Bay. And I know we had issues before then, but when we lost that game, we were blown out at home in the wild card round to Green Bay again. Something has not like nothing has been good since then. Nothing. I can't. There hasn't been a single positive from the Dallas Cowboys since that game.
Well, I mean, the Browns game was positive, but I mean, no, it's not the podcast, and it's not this season. It's
No.
it's 28 years, man. 28 years of getting our hopes up and thinking that we have talent, and then finding out that we don't have talent, or finding out that our talent doesn't have the ability to play under pressure, or doesn't have that clutch gene that old Skip talks about. I mean, some of that stuff is coming home to roost for me, man. This I'm starting to wonder about our personnel, our coaching. It's been going on for a long time. It's been going on for a long time, since long before Green Bay. I mean, I think Green Bay, we had an illusion that we were good, but looking back on it, I don't think we were good. I think, the critics say they just beat up on a bunch of bad teams last year. And I mean, you think about those back-to-back losses to the Dolphins and the Bills last year, the month prior to that Green Bay playoff. And you know what? We should have known it was coming, right? So I don't know, man. I think this is starting to smell like a rebuilding year to me. And there's no proof that it's not at this point.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I think, last year was the window to kind of have some success in the NFC, and we didn't do that. And I
Definitely.
still think they were a good team last year. Yeah, they struggle on the road against some good AFS or AFSC. Sorry, I'm in the Air Force. It's Air Force Specialty Code. They struggle against AFC teams. But looking back on it, like when the Cowboys lost those games, it always meant more to the other team, and they were still kind of comfortable. But yeah, they should have won those games. But the biggest thing I think about last year is how healthy the Cowboys were going
Yep.
into the playoffs, and how many guys had started the year in their starting position and ended the year in that playoff game. And I remember talking about it last year. It's like, this is like the healthiest Cowboys team I can remember. Well, I definitely jinxed it, because this year when it comes to injuries, it's bad. But I think you're onto something there. Maybe we weren't as good as we thought we were, but yeah, maybe the core of this team is just not that good. I don't know when our window was. Maybe it's not in 2016. The team's too young. I guess maybe 2021 or 2022
Yeah,
was the year when they lost to San Francisco.
the home loss to the Niners. That one still bothers me. That
Yeah.
one, I think we were poised to make a run, and I thought that team was extremely talented. But last year's team, we thought they were going to make a run. But like I said, if you really, a lot of that was high emotion of them playing so well in those last couple games. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you look back on it, I think that we struggled last year to beat good teams, and I think Green Bay was really peaking when they came in, and they didn't have any pressure. We got a problem with pressure, man. We got a problem with pressure, and that hurt us. But
It's
yeah, I
true.
don't, what's going on this year. We got all these injuries. It's easy to point to the injuries, but man, it's been going on for 28 years, so I don't know if we can put it all on the injuries.
Yeah, that's fair. Hot Take City says hello. Thanks for joining us, Hot Take City. I know you're not feeling too well after the Giants dropped that game yesterday, but time to move on quarterback wise, I think. But you're kind of stuck with your guy like we're stuck with ours. Jay says, "Hi guys, what's going on, Jay? Thanks for
What's up,
joining us
Jay?
tonight."
What's up, Hot Take? Both y'all.
Yeah. I mean, so as always, we're kind of getting off topic already, but that's just kind of what this show is going to be today, because there's just so many thoughts about that loss. Everything is creeping in at this point. It's just been a weird year, and just very unenjoyable, I would say, to watch this team. But as always, Cowboy Reg, we talk about this every week. Do you have an overreaction and an underreaction from this game?
I mean, my reaction to this game may be an overreaction. My actual reaction, the way I feel, season's over. I really do believe that. I don't see a route with this schedule that puts us back into the wild card even. I see that. I believe that this year's window is closed because the schedule we just went through, a lot of those games are winnable, including the Niners game. You went into the year thinking it's not winnable, but you look at where they were with their injuries and their record and the way that game went down, that was a winnable game. So my overreaction is how I really feel, that we're done. An underreaction would be to say it's fine. We're 3-4. We'll get right back in it. But you got to look at the schedule, man. 5,
Yeah.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have 5 consecutive games against teams with winning records coming up.
4 straight games, and then
4.
we have the Giants. So,
all right, well,
but still,
4 games.
I mean,
so I mean, you look at.
It's still not good.
We cannot be 3-8, right? And even talk about the playoffs. So, like I said, I mean, I'm not being very optimistic here, but guys, come on, be real. I mean, you got 4 straight games against teams with winning records, and you just lost to how many teams with losing records this year already. So it's not looking good. There is some optimism, and that we'll talk about, getting some young players and start thinking, get our young players in and start thinking about next year at some point. I know they're going to try to win these games, but my underreaction would be saying that it's fine. We're 3-4. We're fine. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think, like we said, and that was kind of like the thing that bothered me about this game is like I heard a lot from the Cowboys media, some of the other podcasts we listened to, and it's all like, hey, they're 3-3. It's not all that bad. They play San Francisco. We never beat San Francisco. Let's look past San Francisco, see when we can win some games. But I guess my overreaction is, hey, we always lose to San Francisco. What's the big deal? And it's like, we talked about on the preview show, this was the time to beat them. Like, they passed to Kittle and that's it. They had no one else. Even Debo did not have an impact on this game because he was still, recovering from pneumonia.
He wasn't 100%.
Right. So this is such a beat up San Francisco team, and they couldn't get it done. And that's just like, look, we have our issues and we have our injuries, and I think we were definitely more hurt than we thought we would be on this show. Hold on real quick. Hot Take City says, welcome to the life of the Giants fan. Meaningless football in November. Yeah, that sucks.
We're not used to that. No, we're not used to this hot take. We don't
recently, no.
Yeah, we don't know unless you talk about that year that Dak went down against the Giants, and we kind of knew that season was shot. But outside of that, we're used to November setting us up for the playoffs, and that's not where we're at this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Recently, the Cowboys have been in contention, except for that 2020 year, which was a year where your quarterback goes down early in the season. So I don't really count that year because when Dak breaks his ankle, the season's over because you don't have your starting quarterback. So that doesn't really count. But before then, I guess it was maybe 2018 when the last time we kind of started this bad. But anyway, I didn't even think we were bad in 2018. Might have been 2017 was the last time.
We were 3-5, and they went and got Amari Cooper.
In 18.
Yeah, we went and got Amari Cooper because they wanted to win. They went and got somebody. They paid somebody. They made a move. They traded away their number 1 draft pick. All of a sudden, we're winning the NFC East and going to the playoffs. That ain't going to happen this year. There ain't no moves being made. This is it. What you got your team on the field. Jerry's made that clear. There's nothing going to happen here.
Yeah, so I would say that's my you're right about that, and I want to talk on that in a little bit. But that's my overreaction is hey, we're still okay. There's 10 games left. Like, no, they needed to win this game really bad. Like you said, I kind of have a feeling this season is cooked. My underreaction, oh man, I don't think we're talking about the coaching and the play calling and setting this team up for success. And that is the biggest failure, is this team was not set up for success. They had the injuries. They have a lot of excuses right now, but this front office is such a failure. That's my underreaction. And you can blame it on Dak. You can blame it on McCarthy, whoever you want. But from where they were last year and what the front office promised us in the offseason, we laugh about it now, but going all in and then nothing happened. We had an episode come out that said we were all out because we never signed anybody. But like when the front office comes and says, hey, we were good this year, we blew it in the playoffs, like we're going to go all in. They said that. And then to not set this team up for success in the offseason, I think is just a huge failure. It's so frustrating. It's hard to watch because, I mean, you could, yes, at this point, it looks like kind of a soft rebuild, like we said before, but I think that that's misleading, and I think that that's not okay because I don't think this team is supposed to be rebuilding, and I don't think they're going to be bad enough this year to truly get enough draft picks to really improve the team. And I don't know if they're going to make any moves in the offseason, but like to me, like we said in the offseason, this team was a couple tools away from being really great. I think everyone would agree on that. Had some bad injuries early on, but if we had a running game right now, who knows? If we had Derrick Henry, who knows? If we kept Tony Pollard, who knows? If they make a move after Brandon Cooks got hurt, I mean, Deontay Johnson just goes to the Ravens this year. All
Amari
these teams that are
Cooper.
competing,
Amari
Cooper
out there. It's a joke.
So there's moves to be made. They're not improving this team. They just keep saying, the Joneses keep saying, like, oh, we're happy with our guys, comfortable with our guys. Like, just come out and say it. I hate them. I cannot stand them right now. Like they piss me off because just be straightforward. Like I don't get it. Like if they come out and say like, hey, we suffered a lot of injuries this year. We're gonna we're gonna do our best. I guess you can't say that as a front office, but at the same time, like they have failed because you cannot have two of the highest paid. In my opinion, you cannot have two of the highest paid players in the NFL on your team and be in a rebuild mode. You can't have a $60 million quarterback and be in rebuild. That's bullshit. So if you wanted to rebuild, don't sign CD and Dak to these huge contracts and let young guys play.
Well,
all right, I've talked a lot.
CD is a young guy, so I'm okay with that. And I'm not a Dak. I'm not a Dak hater.
I agree.
I'm not a hater. I'm not a Dak hater. I appreciate what he's done for this franchise. However, it doesn't make any sense that they extend him and sign him to the largest contract of all time and then give him no one to help. I mean, they haven't brought in anyone. And I'm not dissing the guys on the field. They're doing their best. But there's rookies out there that should be learning the NFL instead of playing every single week, every single snap, because you should have got some free agents. The running game is just mind-boggling. And I don't even want to hear that Rico was sick. I'm calling BS. There's no way that a rumor comes out 2 days before the game that Dalvin Cook's getting activated. And then half hour before the game, oh, Rico's sick, we're activating Dalvin Cook. No, man. I don't know who they think they're trying to fool, but that's a joke. So you don't have your best running back on the field. Once again, the best running back you have is either not getting the ball or this time he's not even activated. And then, I mean, all of a sudden it's a Zeke show and the Dalvin Cook show. And it's like, we know that's not going to pan out. I mean, Zeke had a good first half. I'll give him credit. Zeke had a good first half, but once again, he's proved that he's not built any longer to carry the load the whole game. Wouldn't it have been nice to be rotating Rico in there and Rico be the RB1? When is Rico going to be the RB1? In Pittsburgh, he was. And what happened? Best win of the year. Best win of the year in Pittsburgh.
That's a good team.
How do we do that? We fed Rico. We won that game. Never fed him before, and now he ain't even on the field. It's almost like they don't, I'm telling you, it's almost like they don't want to win. The moves they're making, the personnel, and the plays they're calling. The plays, man. What happened in Baltimore is the same thing that happened in San Francisco. They're getting blown out. The Waffle House menu goes out the window. McCarthy's no longer calling plays because we're hurry up. And all of a sudden they start scoring. And all of a sudden CD's open and CD and Dak are playing, toss and catch right down the field. Bang, bang, bang. And all of a sudden they got the ball down 6 with 3 minutes left. It's a winnable game. How did that happen? McCarthy wasn't calling plays anymore. I mean, he might be, hey, let's do this or let's do that. But that hurry up to the line and go, that's on Dak. So we got a problem with their play calling. McCarthy, you're done.
It's bad.
You're done, dude. If you're watching this, you're done. You are never going to coach the Dallas Cowboys again when this season's over. You're done. So why are you playing along with the sabotage? If you're going to lose your job anyways,
right.
Get in there and call some plays to win and say, go ahead and fire me for winning. And tell everybody I've tried to win and they got rid of me. Instead, it's like, okay, I'll go with what you give me. And he can't win. Can't win with the play calling that he's doing and the personnel. Can't win. I mean, I don't know. You could bring in Belichick. You can bring in, we can bring in Vince Lombardi back from the dead and put him up there. You're not winning with this personnel right now. It's just not, you said it earlier. They did not set him up to win. The offense is not set up to win. And then the weird thing is the offense doesn't have those major injuries, really. They don't have major injuries. And they suck. I'm sorry, they suck. The defense has so many injuries, they should be giving up 50 points a game, and they're not, except for Detroit. The defense stepped up here. They made the stop.
Yes, they did.
We've been waiting the whole year for them to make a stop in the fourth quarter. They couldn't do it against Baltimore, right? They finally did it. And we go 4 and out. We didn't go 3 and out. We got, hey, you've heard of 3 and out? We got one better, 4 and out. 4 straight plays at the end of the game without a single yard. 4, I mean, that's statistically hard to do, man. It's hard to throw.
It's so hard. Bad.
You're talking about an NFL quarterback throwing 4 consecutive incomplete passes. And the other team is basically playing a prevent defense to prevent you from scoring a touchdown. I don't even know how you do that, except you're calling some crazy, stupid plays or Dak is choking under pressure. One of those two things had to have been happening, because you tell me the last time you saw a quarterback throw 4 consecutive incompletions with 3 minutes left in the game, and they needed a touchdown and they're backed up in their territory. It just doesn't happen. That's I'm done. That's my rant. I'll shut up now.
I like it. I mean, you're spot on. I'm not going to stop you when you're spitting straight fire. Hot Take City says, sorry to interrupt, but Reg, Freeman 2-run homer. It's over. Jesus, man. Freddie Freeman. Ugh. Can't stand the guy.
I mean, Hot Take, man. Hot Take and I are both Yankees fans, so he's feeling the same pain. And he's a Giants fan. He's feeling the same pain in the NFL and the World Series. I mean, I'm with you, Hot Take.
Yeah. The Knicks, maybe. The Rangers. The Rangers could be good this year. I don't know, man. That's tough. Tough times in New York. Look, it's bad. I want to talk about that final drive at some point today. Because when we get into the game recap, I want to hit on that, and you already hit on it, but it's just it's awful. It's like this team, they show life, and then all of a sudden it's like, they're gonna blow it. Like, even when they show signs of, oh man, they might be turning this thing. That's what sucks about this team, is like they can't just get blown out. It's like they got to give you this false hope. And then after the Baltimore game, I'm like, well, I know this isn't going to happen, but I thought, San Francisco's going to get 2 first downs and then it's going to be over. But the defense actually steps up. We get the ball with like around 2:45 to 3 minutes left, right?
Yeah.
No timeouts. You got 2-minute warning. You might as well just get into it now. Whatever. Cowboys are down 6 points. They get the ball back with the 2-minute warning left, and 4 plays, 0 yards. The first play, Dak throws into triple coverage. He underthrows into triple coverage. He should have thrown a pick 6. Miraculously, the Niners drop it. The next play, he throws it direct. Yeah, the next play, Dak throws a ball to, I believe, Ferguson, completely out of bounds, not even trying, like he just threw it away. The third play in the fourth quarter, Dak throws an absolute dime to Kevontae Turpin, probably his best ball he's thrown all year. Of course, he drops it. Not an easy catch, but still, that was a perfectly thrown ball. But again, why are you throwing a 40-yard pass on 3rd and 10 when you know you have to go for it on 4th down, and then you get 4th and 10 Ball goes to Jalen Brooks. He got tripped up. The guys, the feet were tangled. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of
You're
Cowboys
not getting
fans who
that
say
call.
it should have
You're
been
not getting that
PI.
call. You won't get
It
that
could have
call.
been. It could have been PI, but I didn't even care because I was so disgusted on what the play calls. I didn't even care. I was just numb.
And
I didn't even care.
the fair question, I don't know if you know this answer, but in that last drive, were they now out of the hurry up and letting McCarthy call those plays? Because I'd like to know whose decision it is to throw that 40-yard pass. You don't need that. You got an eternity. In fact, you almost had too much time. You almost, honestly, you need to be throwing the ball in the middle of the field and burning that clock down because you want to score like you did in Pittsburgh and walk away. You don't want to give the Niners them because you'll be up 1 in a minute left. You connect on that 40-yarder and you run down there and score a touchdown. Okay, you're up 1 point, and now they got a minute or a minute and a half left. Guess what? They only need a field goal. So horrible clock management. That's what I need to know, and you'll never know. They won't tell you. The front office isn't honest. Is McCarthy calling those plays at the end of the game, or is Dak running?
Yeah.
Is he running a hurry up with 2.5 minutes left and a 2-minute warning coming up? I don't think so. And that's probably back in McCarthy's hands. Why does he still have a job? I mean, I guess they
get blown out, but
yeah, they don't want to replace him because this is what happened last time. They put They put in Jason Garrett after they fired Wade Wilson, I believe, or Wade Phillips. Wade Wilson was a backup quarterback for Troy Aikman for a while, and then a good quarterback coach for the Cowboys. But they brought in the Clapper, and the Clapper all of a sudden won a few games. We were at one of them, and all of a sudden the Clapper gets the job, and it was the worst decision of all time. So I kind of want, in a way, just let McCarthy play this out. Let them tank or whatever the hell they're doing, and then he's out of town, and then they can hire a coach in the off season and really look at who's available and what. God, we need an offensive-minded dude, man. We need somebody, an offensive coordinator that wins the Super Bowl this year, or gets to the NFC, AFC championship. We need a good, young, fresh offensive mind, because this was a bad experiment and it wasted another generation of talent.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. I mean, it looks like the OC for the Lions, maybe. I mean, I think that might be the best case scenario. What is his name? It's Johnson, right?
Brian. Is it Brian Johnson?
Brian Johnson.
Yeah. I don't know how I knew that. I'm not even looking at.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but it's so early. It's so early. It's hard to say. I hate to have this conversation after week 8, but
I mean, I'm just saying that we're not going to.
But I agree with your sentiment. Yeah.
We can't get on the fire McCarthy bandwagon right now, because the result of firing him could be something we don't want.
Yeah, that's true.
You fire him, and then the new coach goes 4-4 or something, and you beat Washington or something, a playoff team. You're like, okay, give this guy the job. And then you find out, well, he can't really manage a program from start to finish. He just walked into something that was already rolling. And I think that's what happened with Garrett, is he walked into a well-oiled machine that was just falling on some, bad luck. And Wade had lost the locker room, and Garrett somehow rallied the troops. And then we said, we got our guy, and how long did we keep him? 10 years or something. I don't remember. It was bad, though. It's way too long. So I don't want to see that happen again. I mean, that could be, like a Zimmer or something, like, we're firing McCarthy, Zimmer, you take over. Well, okay. He wins a few games. We go 500. What do you do then? You make him the coach, and then you didn't get the guy you wanted. You got the guy that was in the building. So I want to see them go out there and interview and do a thorough search. And I'd love, I used to be thinking, man, maybe Belichick is a guy to bring in for Dak or something. Maybe that'll help. Now I'm thinking, nope, I want a 35 to 40-year-old dude that has a creative mind in offense. It's not Kellen Moore, by the way, not him, but another guy his age that could create some new offense. Dak is stagnant. I think the league has figured him out, and he needs a new mind to drop some new plays and drop a new scheme. So, hey, we're talking about next year on today's show, folks. We're not talking about the 7 games we've played. We're going to talk about next year.
Yeah, it's tough not to do. Let's try to bring it back here real quick.
All
So,
right.
real quick about this game is like, I think the Dallas Cowboys had I don't think I know. They had a really strong start to this game. Like, they go down
Physical.
3-0. But then they had a beautiful 11-play, 65-yard drive finished off by an Ezekiel Elliott touchdown to make it 7-3. They get a stop, and then the Cowboys go down the field, and they're in the red zone at 7-3. Now, this is the point of the game. I'm saying, if we score here, I know we're going to win this game.
Yep.
They don't. They play very conservative in that red zone trip. They have been an awful red zone team all year. I'm going to get it for you right here.
Is that when they
red
gave the
zone
ball to Lukey on like 3rd and 4 or something? Was that the drive they gave the ball to Hunter Lukey on a 3rd and 4?
No, I think that was the first drive of the game.
Okay.
They threw a ball
sense.
that Brevin spanned forward. But anyway, this team is 31 out of 32 in the NFL when it comes to red zone scoring touchdowns. So this offense stalls out, and mostly because there's a factor in that I want to point out, is that Dak Prescott will not run anymore, which is why he's failing as a quarterback, I believe.
Fact. I picked up on that myself.
Look, yeah, they didn't score. In part of a red zone offense, you got to have a dynamic quarterback because you have no run game. You have no run game, especially in the red zone. That running is even more difficult in the red zone. But when you're restricted to only passing the ball, teams can really just cover up the receivers, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, Brock Purdy, the last guy drafted in the NFL draft, not known for his speed at all. Not really a dual threat guy, but he can scramble, but he just has the balls to run. He went 8 for 56 in this game. Dak rushing, 1 rush for -1 yard. I mean,
yep.
Since when can Dak not run at all? You're telling me he cannot scramble at all? Nothing? He can't run at all. Why? Why?
I don't think they want him to. I think they're obsessed with him being healthy for the playoffs. But what to sit on his couch and watch the games?
I mean, dude, you have to scramble once in a while because you have no running game. Your offensive line has struggled a little bit. Like, he has got to run the ball. If Dak just scrambles in some of these games, they win these games. If he could just scramble that's who he was originally. So, like, I get that he's getting older, but you can't tell me that he can't run at all.
Right. He's only 30, man. He's not Aaron Rodgers' age. It's like at 30, gosh, I don't want to compliment this moron, but at 30, Rodgers would be running all over the field and scrambling.
Yes, he did. He used to scramble all the time.
Now
all
he's
the time.
40, 41 years old. We don't expect that. But Dak just went from 29 to 30 recently, right? He's just a fresh 30, if I remember correctly. I don't understand. That's not old, man. 30 is not old athletically. You should be able to run the ball still.
You sit down and tell me right now that Brock Purdy lined up with Dak Prescott is going to run faster than Dak Prescott.
And they're 40 out.
No way. There's no way.
Let's look.
Well, I know their 40 time in the draft. I mean, in the combine is obviously going to be Dak. But yeah. I mean, I don't want to count his 40 time because he's been in the league for a while. But let's see here. Brock Purdy ran a 4.84.
See what old Dak ran.
Prescott ran a
4.79.
4.79. So I mean, that's not super fast, but still, man, like he's originally a runner. He's a dual threat quarterback. So
he's 31. Okay, he's 31. He's not just 30. He's 31. But come on, man, that's not too old to run out of the pocket. I mean, we're not. Yeah. You're not saying bootleg draws, design running plays. You're saying like when the pocket collapses, You don't have to collapse. You can run away. And if they're not, if they're back in zone coverage or man to man or whatever around the corner, go run for 6-7 yards and then run out of bounds. He doesn't do that anymore. He just takes a sack or throws the ball into triple coverage or something. I don't know. That's something that, again, we won't know. No one's going to be honest and tell us, have they told him not to run? As he said, I'm not running. Because Deshaun Watson did. Deshaun Watson said, I refuse to run quarterback sneaks. So they get down and it's like first and goal on the 1 and he's on the bench. I'm like, what's going on here? Why is this guy on the team? Is that what is going on with Prescott? Who's telling him not to run, or is that his decision? That would be interesting to know, but they're not going to tell us.
In the modern day NFL, if you have a quarterback that is not willing to scramble, he's worthless.
Yeah.
You might as well put someone else out there because, I mean, name a Super Bowl winning quarterback that is not able to run at all.
Right.
These days.
Not anymore.
We know Mahomes will run.
Yeah.
Mahomes, if they're willing to run Mahomes, like that's the thing, man. Because at the end of the day, you're safer if you're smart about it. Like, we're not saying Dak should run out and like pull a Josh Allen and truck some guys, but like you're honestly safer scrambling than sitting in the pocket. Sitting in the pocket's what gets your freaking leg broke.
Did you see
angled up?
Speaking of running quarterbacks, so Brock Purdy has 8 rushes for 56 yards. 8 for 56. Yeah. Do you know how many yards rushing our entire team had? 56.
56.
Same exact number. Brock Purdy has the same rushing yards as Zeke, Cook, Turpin, Lukey, and Dak combined. Now they ran for 223, but just Brock alone is running with the entire Dallas Cowboy team. That's pitiful.
It's pitiful. And this team, if Dak can't, and look, and I think Jerry actually said something about it today about him running.
Yeah.
When they asked Jerry, is it because you don't want him hurt or he can't run? And Jerry said it's a little bit of both. What does that mean? There is no way in hell that Dak can't scramble. That is bullshit. You don't come from being a dual threat guy running a read option all day long at Mississippi State, scrambling throughout your career, and then all of a sudden he can run. He hasn't been hurt since 2020 due to a run.
Yeah.
He got hurt in 2020. He broke his ankle. I get that. It's almost been 4 years ago. Like, give me a break, man. Give me a break. If Tua Tagovailoa can go out there and risk his life, and literally the dude gets one more concussion, he could be dead, and he's going to scramble, and Dak can't. I mean, it's worthless. Like, he's worthless. And he's getting paid $60, and that's their defense. Well, he's getting paid $60 million a year. Well, I'd rather have my $60 million quarterback out there trying to win a game and get hurt than go. I mean, this team might go 5-12. But, at least we didn't hurt Dak. Like, who gives a shit, dude? I don't care.
I mean, we're not trying to get him hurt, but we're trying to win games, and that's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
When you start putting restrictions on yourself physically, you were going to start losing. You got to play freely, and you got to play to win. That's when guys get hurt, when they're trying not to get hurt. And that's why you see all these guys – how does these guys tear their ACL in practice and training camp? Because they're not going all out. They're doing something stupid or, didn't stretch properly or whatever. And the injury happens. It happens. So the fact that he's not running is not necessarily going to avoid injury. The fact that he's not running just makes him play like he doesn't care. And even though I do believe he does care, when you see him throwing the ball away or taking a sack instead of running, you're like, do you really care, though? Because if you really care, you try to win at all costs. And when you brought up Patrick Mahomes, I started thinking about that. I was like, here's a guy with everything to lose, man. This is a Super Bowl team. They're going for a three-peat. He's going down and, could be one of the greatest of all time. And when he's out of receivers and he's getting near the sideline, he cuts back in, makes a move, and gets 5 more yards before he gets hit. It's like, this guy wants to win. So I don't know if it's on Dak. Is it on Jerry? Is it on Mike McCarthy? Why isn't he running? That's the thing. I don't want to blame him until I know who's telling him not to
I don't
run.
know.
But you know what? I do put the blame at the end of the day on him because, hey, even if they're telling you not to run and the game's on the line, you want to win, and you're
Run.
in
What
your
are they
heart,
going to do?
right?
What's Jerry going to do?
Right. What's he going to do? Say, man, you shouldn't have got that first down that fourth quarter. I'd rather you go 4 and out. Come
Yeah.
on, man.
It's like you said earlier about McCarthy. Like, who cares what Jerry says? They said
Yeah.
we were all in.
You're done anyways.
I mean, he
McCarthy.
already got paid. You got paid.
Yeah.
Guaranteed $200 million. If you want to run, run. I mean, Lamar Jackson runs. Josh Allen runs like crazy. I mean, like you already said, Pat Mahomes runs.
I think your example of Brock Purdy, I mean, that's all you need to say right there. You got Brock Purdy running to win this game. I mean, if you look at how close this game was in the last few minutes, if he doesn't run for those 56 yards, they probably don't win this game. Honestly, that's a significant chunk. That's our entire offense. We just went through that. So, yeah, I mean, he played that game to win, right? He's running, he's passing, he's doing whatever he can. His stats don't jump off the table, but he plays to win. That's the difference. We're not playing to win. It's almost like we're tanking, you know. I don't know.
That's something to evaluate the rest of the year. But like, there's so many opportunities for Dak to run throughout these games. He just doesn't do it. It's so hard to watch. It's like, why restrict yourself? I don't get it. I can think of like one guy that I know really doesn't scramble, and that's maybe Jared Goff. But I mean, they have the best running game in the league. But I feel like he would still scramble for a first down. This guy Dak won't even think about it. It's like it's not even. He will not do it. He won't do it.
Won't do it.
Dak was bad. He's been bad all year. He threw 2 picks in this game. I don't want to put the whole blame on Dak because he did make some plays. He made some good throws in this game, but overall he's just been poor. I mean, he doesn't have a great group of receivers. They have 0 running game. The O-line hasn't played great, but he hasn't been good in one single game all year. So I don't know what to say. We're stuck with the guy, but it's like it's just hard to watch him because he looks pressured.
Go back to what I said earlier. We're stuck with the guy. He signed a historically large contract, but everything else Jerry did in the offseason says we're rebuilding. So why would you get an aging quarterback extended for 4 years? I don't know what the plan is, man. Is what I'm saying. Like, if we're 3-4 right now, and Dak's in his final year of his contract, if that extension never happened, would you be calling for his extension? Hell no. You'd be letting this thing play out. So why would Jerry put himself in this situation? If you would have taken a little bit of that money, just a little bit, it's only $16 million, right? You could have got Derrick Henry and said, here you go, Dak. Here is one of the legends, one of the greatest running backs of all time who's still running like he's 22 years old. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're giving you him, and we're telling you this is your last year of your contract. Show us what you can do. But they didn't do that. They signed him, and then they gave him no tools. It's mind-boggling, man. I don't know what's going on. There's got to be a plan. And no matter how dumb Jerry Jones is, no matter what you want to say about, you know, he's an idiot, he's a clown, whatever. All these people say all these things. He can't be that dumb, can he? To pay an historic contract, but then say we're tanking or rebuilding. He can't possibly say that. So if we're not tanking or rebuilding, what exactly is going on out there? You didn't pick up any free agents. You didn't give him any help. Got a bunch of rookies protecting him on the line. They're doing the best that they can do. Now, I'm not blaming those guys. They shouldn't even be playing right now. They should be developing. But Jerry didn't bring in any. He let offensive linemen walk out the door, right? Smith out the door. Biotish out the door. Starting lineman, you're out the door. Okay, what are we doing? We going to bring any free agents? No, we're going to put rookies on there. Okay, so they're going to develop. You must be rebuilding. No, we're all in. So I don't know what Jerry's talking about, man. He's very confused.
Yeah, the O-line, real quick, has not been great, and specifically, Zach Martin has not really played that great this year, and that's troubling because he might. But like, what's the plan to replace Zach Martin? Because you drafted a guard and put him at center.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got Cooper Beebe playing great at center, and then Tyler Smith's still playing good, but also like
Guyton's been hurt now. All of a sudden, he's hurt. So
Terrence Steele hasn't played well.
Yeah, well, that's not surprising.
But yeah, I mean that's not been good either.
And I'm okay with Smith being gone, but they probably should have got at least one veteran offensive lineman, guard or tackle or center. They probably should have got one in free agency, right? They should have brought somebody in the building, but nope, no running back, no offensive lineman. Just you get what you get, Dak. Here you go. And then on top of that, you're not allowed to run apparently. So, but we're going to pay you well. So it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, just kind of final breakdown of this game. Like I said, that the Cowboys started the first half really well. But like I said, when they conceded for a field goal when they were up 10-3 or when they were up 7-3 to make it 10-3, I was like, well, that certainly doesn't help. But the offense was showing some signs there where I was like, okay, well, maybe we can, maybe we got something going on offense here. They look physical. They're kind of getting into it. And I felt really good. But, when it was 10-6 at halftime and San Francisco's getting the ball back in the second half, I mean, I was just like, man, I don't have a good feeling about this. I feel like we should have jumped off to a bigger lead. And that's exactly what they did. This was like really a tale of not even two halves, but just the third quarter, after the Cowboys being up 10-3, San Francisco, they scored 24 straight points and they dominated the third quarter. And they went up 27-10 in the third quarter, and all of a sudden it just felt like 5-10 minutes had happened, and this game was over. And that's what's so concerning is like you're up 10-6 at half, and you haven't played perfectly, but that's how you know the coaching is so bad because San Francisco makes adjustments, you make none, and they come out and just blow you out in the third quarter. Like that's coaching all day long, right? They had a strategy for how they were going to go down and score on the first drive. They did that with ease. They scored 3 straight touchdowns in the third quarter. So they knew exactly what they were going to do. They figured out the Dallas Cowboys defense. They had the Cowboys figured out on offense because they completely shut them down. And they jump out to a 27-10 lead in the third quarter. The Cowboys make a kind of a fake comeback towards the end. And like we said earlier, they're down 6 with about, just under 3 minutes left, and they got 0 yards on 4 plays. So, and that was it. Stats wise, I mean, the Niners offense, they were held to 6 points in the first half, but because of that second half, I mean, they had a ton of yards. They had 223 yards rushing, which again, the Cowboys have
56.
The worst in the NFL when it comes to rush defense, and they had 260 yards on passing. Most of that came from George Kittle. He went 6 for 128. I don't know if you heard it was tight ends day. They only said that 100 times. So that's great. Just rubbed it in our face. Exactly what the NFL wanted to do, they were able to do.
So we decided not to guard their tight end on tight end game.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
But it really came because San Francisco was able to run the ball, and that's what they wanted to do in the second half. We kind of stopped them in the first, but they ran the ball in the second half. That opened everything up. Like we said in the previous show, if they're able to run the ball, it opens everything up for their offense. That's exactly what happened. So the Cowboys, like you said, they went 19 rushes for 56 yards, just pitiful. Real quick, the Cowboys are currently 32 last in the NFL when it comes to yards per rush, 32nd. So last place in the league when it comes to rushing yards per game, 74 rushing yards per game. The absolute worst running offense in the entire NFL. That's really, really scary. And they're giving up 154 yards conversely on defense. So that's 31st out of 32nd in the NFL. So not only do you have the worst running offense in the NFL, but you have the worst rush defense. So that tells you everything you need to know about this team. They're just historically bad. There's not one single part of this team that's a strength. That's my biggest takeaway from after 7 games. This team has 0 strength. Like, what is the Cowboys' identity? What is their strength? We don't have one. There's nothing that this team does well.
Kick.
Special teams. Okay. Yeah. You're right. They have good special teams.
Turpin's having a good return year, and Brandon Aubrey's the GOAT. But, I mean, that's not going to win you games. It's going to it might win you a game now and then, but it's not a 17 game plan. We're gonna go to the playoffs off of our kicker and our kick returner. That's not a thing.
No, absolutely not.
But that's all we got. What other area of the game are we doing well right now? That's it. Special teams. That's it.
Oh,
you can't
it's it.
It's not pass rush. It's not run defense.
No, they have no
It's not
strength.
run. It's not pass. It's not quarterback. It's not running back. I mean, CeeDee Lamb against San Francisco, he got it going, in the fourth quarter. But
yeah, I mean, that's the bright spot, right? Of today. I wouldn't call it a strength on the year because they're already down 17 points.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to play a little soft. But CD did go 13 for 146, 2 touchdowns. So he finally got it going. So maybe, that's something that they can hang on to. But
did he throw the ball in those last 4 plays? I'm not sure if I remember. Did he throw him the ball?
No, he didn't. He did not.
Does that make any sense? Whose fault is that? I mean, that's Dak, right? I mean, he's I don't know, man. It's like the only guy hot in the building is CeeDee Lamb, and we avoid him when the game's on the line. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth because I'm like, well, what happens when it matters? Because before then, he had a pretty pedestrian game. That although he was throwing a lot to him, 17 targets, which is a lot of targets for 13 receptions, but 13 catches is a lot.
That's
but
amazing.
Again, you're feeding him, but you're down 17. It's like, what is the point here, right? You're finally getting the offense going. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it was a rough game. They fought back, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they didn't quit. I'll give them that. They didn't quit,
they were in position to win.
That's the crazy part.
That was not garbage time. When you have the ball down 1 score with 3 minutes left, obviously that is not garbage time. That's when you win games. So I'm not going to take anything away from CD. It goes back to what I said earlier, though. It's play calling, man, because when they're winging it and they're hurrying it up and they're trying to come back and you saw it. I mean, you opened the door to this Green Bay thing. So we go back to the Green Bay playoff game. As soon as we went in to hurry up and scored freaking 30 points or something, it's crazy. So McCarthy, man, you got to get rid of that.
I think that's the biggest change.
Got to go.
What's the point? Why is McCarthy calling plays at this point? Like, what is Brian Schottenheimer doing? Like, what is his purpose on this team?
I guess he draws up a game plan, and I mean,
I don't know. Suck. They both suck ass. Like I guarantee. Like, I know we're just these 2 dudes on a podcast, but I mean, where are the easy throws? Where are Dak Prescott's a rhythm quarterback. Why are you having Dak Prescott take these shots down the field when, first of all, you don't have a single guy on the team that is a big play? I mean, CD's a big play wide receiver because he's a yak guy and he can get open. And but like I said, he's a yard after catch guy. He's not a guy you throw. He's not a Des Bryant where it's like,
right. He's not a jump ball guy necessarily.
Not a jump ball guy. And they call these jump balls to Kevontae Turpin, who's like 5'7".
It doesn't make any sense.
You don't have Brandon Cooks. Like Tolbert can be that guy. They don't really. Yeah. They designed a few of them to Tolbert. Didn't work out. But where's the easy passes? 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Why not throw a screenplay on first down? They're going to play soft. They're going to play back because they don't want you to score. Yeah. Where is the easy throws for Dak? Where's the balls down the middle? Why aren't you getting Ferguson involved in the pass game down the middle? Where is CD lined up in the slot?
San Francisco.
That's what San Francisco does. Yeah, they throw down the middle of the field.
Yep.
And that's what they do. They throw down the middle of the field.
They had all day, man. When you're outside the 2-minute warning, you actually need to run some clock. That's how the NFL works. They'll score on you. Do we need to talk about the Washington-Chicago game? They'll score on you from any place on the field if they have a ball. So you need to run that clock. So why are we throwing balls deep? Why are we throwing balls to the sideline? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think by the time the 2-minute warning hit, San Fran had the ball back.
Yeah.
We didn't burn any time. I mean, we just
nothing.
Nothing. It's crazy.
4 incomplete passes.
The clock management is terrible. McCarthy's challenges are it's like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like every time he challenges, he's wrong. He just wastes challenge flags. That didn't happen in this game, but just in general. Look, I've said it a million times. You can, and we both complain about Jerry Jones. He owns the team. He ain't going nowhere. But you know who doesn't own the team? That's Mike McCarthy, and he's not getting the job done. So it's definitely going to be time to move on from him.
Yeah. So that's the San Francisco game, folks. I mean, we could talk big picture real quick. The Cowboys are 3 games back in the NFC East. That's not looking good. They're 13 out of 16 in the NFC as a whole, and they've lost. The issue here is you could say, like, look, they're 3-4. They got 10 games left, which is true. Technically, they could win 10 straight games and be, they could be the there's 10 games left to see. They could go, what would that be? Yeah, they could go 13-4 and be the number 1 seed in the NFC, but, like, let's get real, that's not going to happen. So, I mean, they've lost so many games to NFC opponents as well. Like, even to the Saints. Yeah, they lost to the Saints. They've lost to the Niners. They've lost to the Lions. Wouldn't really be a tiebreaker. They're going to win their division, but I mean, not necessarily. You got Green Bay there, but that's the other issue here is like they've been so bad against NFC teams. So even if you want to talk like, okay, we still got a shot at the wild card. I mean, not really, because you lose the tiebreaker to San Fran. You still got to play Tampa Bay. Right now, the Eagles are in a wild card spot. I mean, it's just not looking good, man. Nothing about this looks good. It's scary. So I don't know what else to say. They got some really tough games coming up. They have to go to Atlanta, who just is coming off a win in Tampa Bay. But again, I mean, they've been kind of up and down, but at the same time, they look better. Then they play the Eagles at home. They got the Texans, Commanders. So 4 games, 4 winning teams. 3 of those teams are in first place in their division, the Falcons, the Commanders, and the Texans. And the Eagles looked pretty good last week. They blew out the Bengals. So the Cowboys are going to be big underdogs in all those games, and they don't look like they're ready to win that game at all. Real quick, Falcons game, Cowboy Reg.
Yeah.
At Atlanta, noon kickoff. We're going to try to do a preview show for that in a separate episode. But any hope for the Cowboys in this game? I mean, but like you said, I like what you said earlier. Like, it doesn't really matter. There's so many internal issues. It's like, it doesn't matter. Even if we were playing Carolina next week, it's like, I don't know. I mean, what's the point? Even if you win this game and go 4-4, it's like this team has shown no life of, no life at all. They haven't shown to be a winning team. So I don't know what to say, but any hope going into next week at Atlanta?
I mean, at what point do we as fans start saying, I just hope they lose so we can get a better draft? I mean, these games, I mean, okay, you go into Atlanta, okay, they're not as good as their record. They're 5-3. Maybe they're not supposed to be that good. Maybe they're not as good. Maybe you squeak that game out. But Philly, Houston, who else is coming up? There's another winning team in there. I lost the schedule here. Yeah, Philly coming up.
Commanders.
You got the Commanders coming up. So, I mean, every game now is like, we said it last week, it was must win. Now every game is must win if you want to get into the playoffs. But at the same time, it's like at some point, we want to go 8-9 and get some middle of the road draft pick, or we want to change this franchise. So I don't know, man. I don't know where they're going to go with this. Obviously, every time they take the field, I want them to win, and I cheer for them. But in the overall thing, I don't even know if we want to go into Atlanta and win this game. But our injuries are out of control. You talk about the Atlanta game.
Yeah,
I'm talking. Where is Kalen Carson and Deron Bland, because they're supposed to be on the field, and all of a sudden,
practice like they're practicing. Participating in practice and not playing. It's weird. It's weird.
I'm like, there's some conspiracy.
And Micah Parsons should be back. He should be playing in that game too.
What happened to Rico? What happened to Carson? What happened to Parsons? What happened to Bland? Because we're all, after the bye, why are you and I picking the Cowboys to beat the Niners? Because we sat here on the pregame show and we said, well, the Cowboys get Bland back. The Cowboys get Parsons back. The Cowboys get Kalen Carson back. The Cowboys are going to be healthy. Look at all the injuries. They got a guy with not the flu. What do you have? Pneumonia.
Yeah, pneumonia. He's got He's in the hospital Tuesday
Yeah.
with pneumonia, and he's playing. Where are our guys? You're telling me they can't play?
They're practicing, but then they don't play. So
I don't get it.
we're not putting
who
the
is
best
that?
field.
Like, whose decision is that?
Right. We're
I
not
don't
putting the
understand
best team on the field. And it's why aren't we not putting the best team on the field? Are we tanking so we can get a higher draft pick? Well, we're not getting a quarterback because he just locked this guy up. Nobody's going to take his contract, so you're done with the quarterback. So who in the draft do you want to get if you're trying to get into the top 4 or 5 picks? Like, I don't understand. If we are tanking, I'm not sure what we're tanking for.
Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State.
Okay, we get our running
the
back.
Heisman running back.
Okay, we get a running back. I mean, is that what this is all
But
about?
no, they're not. I don't think they're
know.
going to be like. That's the issue. This team, unless they were to literally go out and lose games on purpose, like they're not bad enough to really be in that position. So
No,
I don't really buy into that. So
they're just bad. They're just bad. The organization and the coaching staff is just not good. Then that's what we have to conclude. Because if they're not tanking, I mean, we're giving you excuse thinking, man, it looks like y'all are tanking. You're telling me they're not tanking, so they're just bad.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Let's wait. I mean, if they go on, if they lose all the 4 of these next games, then it's like lose the rest of them.
Sorry, I keep getting off subject, but Atlanta, I just don't see us winning that game. I can't pick us in that game. There's nothing that I saw in San Francisco that makes me say, yeah, we're going to turn this around, except for that fourth quarter. But when you had the ball with 3 minutes left, you threw that fourth quarter away in my eyes, because when it counted, you couldn't get it done. There's a lot of problems there. How can you pick them? Atlanta's favored 2.5, 3 in some books, over under 51. So they're expecting a lot of scoring. I don't know. I don't know how they figure we're going to score a lot of points. Maybe they are. I don't know.
They got a good running game too. They got the Bijan Robinson. I mean, Kirk Cousins can kind of light it. I mean, they have a good offense. So, in kind of the middle of the pack, not a bad defense by any means, not a great defense, but like I don't really care who we play next week. I'm with you. I don't know what is going on with this team. Like, it's concerning because I feel like guys should have played last week and they didn't. Like you said, like, why are they sitting out? Like Micah especially. Like Micah especially. I feel like this is the start of the Micah demise. Like, this is he could have, I guarantee Micah Parsons could play last week. He didn't want to. And he's going to be like this all year. He's obviously going to play again this year, but he's going to be limited. And every time his ankle starts to flare up, he's going to sit out. And then he's going to sit out all training camp and negotiate contract. He's a total waste. But what concerns me too is this DaRon Bland and Kalen Carson situation. Rico, I don't know what's going on there. I get if Rico's pissed off, like they don't give him the ball. He's clearly RB1. But there's so many issues with this ball club. It's just I don't know who they could beat other than Carolina, but even then, who knows? But yeah, I mean, hopefully we can do a preview show sometime this week and really break down that game. But until we get confirmation that some of these guys are going to play, I'm not picking the Cowboys.
No.
If Carson, Bland, Micah come back and play, I'm still not picking them, but maybe they could win. I just don't see how you could pick them in these games. There's so many uncertainties. Like you said, maybe they come out and play. They don't totally tank and they get a win. They can't, if they're totally healthy and they want to win, they could definitely beat the Falcons. I don't think they're unbeatable, but it's like, I just don't know what to say about this team. I don't have a good read on them. I have no idea what they're going to do.
Anyway. That's where I'm at too. Exactly where I am.
So that's where we're at, folks. Hopefully we can get together sometime this week, Cowboy Reds, to do a preview show. But until then, we appreciate you listening today to Sons of the Star. We hope things can kind of turn around, or we could talk about, what are the Cowboys going to look like in the future. Still plenty to talk about, so we're going to keep pressing on these episodes. No reason to stop listening because there's plenty of stuff to talk about, just not good stuff, right? Right. Who knows? We've been here before.
We pick up some new followers. That's the worst they get. We get some Giants fans in here. We get some the Commanders fans are going to be coming at us soon. Eagles fans, you're still not allowed in the chat, but everyone else, we get it. It's fair game.
Absolutely. So appreciate you listening to us, folks. This has been another episode of Sons and Star, and we'll see you next time. But until then, go Cowboys. Let's turn this thing around. Maybe.
Do something.
All right. See you, folks.